Hi Papercrafters! Welcome to another Design with Jo video. I'm Joanne Rogers, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Central Alberta, Canada, and I've been designing with you in mind since 1999. Today I want to share a really pretty gift card holder that looks a little bit more like a card. It goes together very quickly, but it looks like it's a little bit more intricate. So there's a belly band that our tree and our greeting is attached to, and then you open it up and our gift card fits inside an envelope inside. So it really is dual purpose. It's a card and a gift card holder at one. We're first of all going to make our gift card holder, and to do this I'm using First Frost paper, designer paper, and this is a very pretty one. It's got lots of color on one side and it's got the gray granite on the other and a shimmery white look. And we are going to be making the third down card size, so 2.5 by 3.5. And so I needed a piece of paper that was 5.5 inches square, and that's what this one is. We're going to start at 2 3/8. So we look along the top where we have our markings, and there's 2 3/8 right there. So we move the left side of our paper up to 2 3/8. And then we're going to score along this little trough right here. So 2 3/8. And then we just score down, and then we punch, and then we turn it counterclockwise, and we line up this little line, this little divot, with that score line we just made. So I'll hold that up so you can see. So hopefully you can see there's a score line right here, and I'm lined right up with that. And I'm just going to score and punch, and I'm going to do the same thing all the way around. Now I'm going to take the points and I'm going to put them into the corner rounder, which is in here. So you just place it in as far as it will go and you punch, and it's going to give you a nice rounded edge. You don't have to do this step. It looks like I just need a little more rounding there. You don't have to do this step, but I really like how it finishes off the envelope. And now we're just going to fold together our envelope. So I want my gray to be showing out. So I'm going to fold in on my score lines. I'm just going to firm up my lines with my bone folder. And then I'm going to fold it and glue it together. So when I fold mine, I usually fold in the inside pieces and then the last piece so that I have it looking more like an envelope like you might purchase from the store. I'm going to use tear and tape for this. And the reason why is that this might get just a little bit of use with that gift card going in and out, or maybe it'll only go in once and out once, but just in case, I'm going to put tear and tape because it's just got a little sturdier hold to it. So just 2 pieces on, and then I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to pull it from the side instead of from the end, and that will be easier to get the backing pieces off. Then I'm going to just hold it down and I'm going to fold up. And then I'm also going to fold this one back because when I put this on my card, I want to see it here so that I can see both of the sides of paper. Here it's just, to me, not quite as attractive. So I'm going to put just a little bit of snail. You don't need tear and tape on this side. Open it up. And just a bit to hold it in place because we are going to put a greeting over top of there too. Okay, so we're done with our envelope. The stamps I want to use come from 2 sets. So I want to use the Winter Woods, and we're going to use this little sprig here, and we're going to use the fir tree as well. And then I'm also going to use sayings from the Timeless Tidings. I love these sayings. I just love the mix of the fonts. And we are going to use the Moments and Memories one and the May the Warmth of Christmas one. So I'm going to pull those out and set them up on the Stamparatus. First, I'm going to start with my tree. And my piece of paper is a Whisper White thick, and it's 3 by 4 1/4. And I made it, I decided I wanted to use thick because this might get a little bit of use going back and forth on that belly band. So I'm going to put my tree on the top plate here. You're going to turn it over and place it down on your paper. And I've got my paper right in the corner. And then you just take your plate, lift it up. And then for my other piece, I'm just going to put it on top for right now. And my words are just going to go somewhere sort of in the middle because I'm going to cut these out with the oval in framelit. And I don't want them to be too close to each other so that I have enough room to get them centered. So I'm just going to pick those ones up. And it does not really matter if those are upside down or not. So we're going to start with that. Now, a tip for using your Stamparatus is if you take one of your half-size stamp holders, just stick that in underneath both of them, and it just makes it a better surface for inking up. So we're using Mossy Meadow, and we're going to ink up our tree, and we're also using Mary Merlot to ink up our words. So we're just going to ink up both of them. So I have those inked up. I'm going to, right on the very edge, going to put my magnet, and I'm going to stamp, press it down fairly well, and lift up, and see if there's any places that you missed. And it looks like maybe a little bit on the Christmas, I could just get it a little bit darker. So I'm going to get everything and just stamp that again. It stayed in the exact same place and has not moved because of the magnet. So that's a little bit better coverage. I'm just going to ink again on my tree. But before I do that, I'm going to take my words out because I don't want them to be inked. Put my magnet just down in the bottom corner and then ink my tree. Okay. And there's my tree, and I think I'm just going to give it just another little bit of ink as well. So that's one of the beauties of using the Stamparatus positioner, is that it's staying in exactly the same spot. So if I don't get it inked enough, I can just give it a little bit more. And I like the intensity of that ink a little bit better. Now you always want to store your Stamparatus without the plates in. So just pull those out. I'm going to take my rubber stamps off later. Just pull those out and set them aside. The next step is to cut out my two sentiments and my tree. So to cut out my tree, I'm using the In the Woods framelets, and just the one that is the framelit itself going right around the tree. So I'm going to cut that out using the Big Shot. And then I'm also going to use ovals for my words. So this is the 4th size of oval. So I count from the smallest up. So if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the one that I'm using here, and it's the same on the scallops. So I'm going to cut this one out and that one out, and then I'm going to cut glimmer paper. So my glimmer paper is the Joyous Noel, and it is so pretty. So what's great about this is that it doesn't release any of the glitter anywhere. So you're not going to have glitter all over your face when you use this paper. And it came in a pack of 6x6, so great size. And there was copper. There's 6 of the copper, 6 of the Mary Merlot, and 6 of the Tranquil Tide. And these really are pretty. And we're going to use the Mary Merlot today. So I'll just cut all of those out with the Big Shot, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're ready to start putting together our gift card holder. So I have a piece of Mary Merlot, 4.5 this way, 8 1/4 this way, and I've scored it at 2 3/4 and 6 3/4. And I want to just decorate a little bit of this last little bit. So I have the that pine bough, and I have Mary Merlot ink, and I'm just going to stamp randomly over top, and move your stamp around and move it off of your paper too. And I'm going to show you just a little trick here in a minute once I get a few more of these on. There we go. Now I'm going to fold along this score line because I do want to see some coming in from this side. So I'm just going to fold that up, and I've got a little bit of a fold there. So you want to maybe stamp a little slower, and you just want to have a little bit of your stamp going over top of the fold. And the reason for this is that it makes your whole piece look a little larger. And I can see I need one more maybe right here. So I'll have that guy going that way. Here we go. So we are done with that piece, and this is going to be on the right-hand side. So now let's put everything together. So I'm going to fold over my other side, and you'll notice when you're doing this that this folds and it actually goes over top of each other. And I did that on purpose. I did not want them just to meet. I wanted to have a little bit of an overlap. So it's up to you if you want to have your decorated stamped piece over the top, or if you want your plain piece. It's not going to be plain in just a minute though. We're going to take another piece of our first frost paper, and we're just going to put it down with our snail. And the piece I'm using is 2 1/4 by 4. So this piece of paper is 4.5. So you will have a little bit more on the bottom than you have on the sides. Okay, so then you're going to close that up. And now we're going to make a belly band. And so I did not score my piece of gray granite. And this is 1 1/4 by 8.5. All I'm going to do is I'm going to place that behind, and I'm going to make my card straight by using the lines on my grid paper. So when I do that, then I can just fold it over, and I know it's going to be pretty straight. So just fold it over using your hands and it will meet in the middle. So you can crisp up those edges as well. And then I put a little bit of liquid glue. Liquid glue is going to be your best glue in this case because it needs to have a strong enough hold that when the belly band slips on and off, you don't want it to come apart. There we go. I'm just going to let that sit up for a minute and let it dry. It needs, whoops, I guess I better hold it. Let it dry. And then I can start putting my other pieces together. Maybe I'll just put the glue over top of that. So I'm going to also glue my words down onto my glimmer paper. Snail is not a really good choice for glimmer paper. It just seems like it's not strong enough, similar to embossed images on your embossed, your dry embossing. So I'm just going to use liquid glue again and go all the way around the outside of that and place that down onto my glimmer paper. We'll just let those dry. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put our tree on, and our tree is going to go on with dimensionals. So it's going to go here and our words are going to go here. So I'm going to put dimensionals in behind and I'm going to put my dimensionals on the belly band. And you want to put them fairly close together because that tree is not really wide. So fairly close together in a little bit of a triangle shape, and you can take the backing off and place it on here. And now if you don't want your tree to go over the edge, then make sure you're going to put it over far enough to the left. I am fine with mine going off to the edge. Just make sure I cover up my dimensionals. And then I'm just going to glue this down. I'm not going to put that on with the dimensional. I'm going to give myself a little bit of glue there. And then I'm going to tuck this in behind the tree and try and get that nice and straight. I'm going to hold it up. I think that's fairly straight. Maybe that's a little bit better. So I'm going to let that, I'm going to carefully take that off because it's still a little bit wet, and I'm going to set that aside to finish drying. And then I'm just going to take my envelope and I'm going to put that inside. So it's up to you which way you want your envelope to go. It needs to go to one side or the other, I think, for the best being able to get your gift card in and out. And so I'm going to put mine on this side this time, and I'm going to use snail for that. You could use a little bit stronger glue if you want. It's not going to get a huge amount of use in and out, I don't think. And we're going to put him in here so you can see that he fits right inside. And then we're just going to put our words, and they're going to extend a little bit out. So I'm going to put that on with glue, just in case it gets hit a little bit. And make sure when you put your glue on that you're not putting your glue all the way off to this edge, because we want that to extend. So I'm just going to put it on 3/4 really, even half would be good enough, and hopefully that's fairly straight. And we'll close it back up, put our belly band on. There we are. So there's our finished piece. So there's 3 different looks for you. So a fairly quick project, one that I hope you'll use for your Christmas gift cards this year. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you do, please like it below and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. And if you live in Canada and don't yet have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be your gal. Check out my website at www.designwithjo.ca. I post regularly and I would love to have you join in. All of the supplies I use for today's project you can find in the description. Thanks very much and have a great paper crafting day.